Yo, let me talk about True Alpha Invitational 5. This is the first time I've ever seen a True Alpha Invitational in its entirety. Because all the other ones I never really was around when it was on. So I finally, sat down and watched it after getting a shit ton of messages on what happened at the end. I had to look at it. And it's no secret that this event is going to get the horn. From start to finish, the Invitational did not disappoint and did not let up. And with only two matches on the card, sometimes that's fine. I'm totally fine with 2 to 3 match cards as long as the matches are well thought out, well timed. I don't really care about anything else. The first match that you had was Jasmine versus Alex Stryder Jr. And there, man, there's a lot of things that I want to say when it comes down to Jasmine. I believe that we need to stop referring to Jasmine as Jordan Richard girlfriend. Like that, we need to stop referring to that. She's had about 4 matches now and has continually showed out. So now there's no need for the label. We don't need the label anymore. We need to refer her as Jasmine the wrestler, not Jasmine the girlfriend. And the contest between her and Stryder Jr. was amazing. It was very well paced. There's a lot of great back and forth. There's a lot of great, spots where you thought that Jasmine could have had it. And, going into the match, I'm like, oh, Jasmine doesn't stand a chance. She doesn't. That's exactly how I went into it. But then I started to watch and I was like, oh, yeah, no, this is different. This is definitely a good showing for her. And I've seen Stryder Jr. wrestle many of times, so I never get disappointed when I see her in the ring. When it comes down to it, just Jasmine can hang, and I hope to see her in more matches with other powerful women in this industry. Ashley Goldman coming out, obviously it's an obvious thing. It was obvious that she was going to come out, and I was waiting for it because she has ties with Stryder Jr., because she is with Namo, everything like that. Ashley played such a good role in that match, being the valet, being on the side, being the support, applying distractions that, were expected and effective, and it's amazing. And we need more of that. A couple spots I want to kind of get into before I kind of wrap up on this match alone. The stretch muffler that was done by Stryder Jr. to Jasmine, and Jasmine reversed it into a Hurricanrana. Like, that was a very, very smooth transition. Very nice. We don't really see out of the box reversals that make sense, and that definitely caught my eye for sure. Superman punch, any punches that Stryder Jr. does, like, I'm all for it. I love it so much. So there's 2 Superman punch spots that I like. The first one where she just caught her off guard, definitely a really good one to see. I also liked how Jasmine, when she got shot out into the ring, she went immediately after Goldman, and right there, that definitely was like, okay, cool. We needed that. I needed to see that. Now, I do want to say that I did not like the fact that she went and she got an attack on Stryder Jr. when Stryder was trying to go for a suicide dive. I believe that they should have let Stryder Jr. get the suicide dive to kind of add more to it. That's like a cutoff. Jasmine getting cut off and then go for more for that. But I digress. It was still a solid little spot. Another spot that I really liked was the shooting star to Superman punch that ended the match. We don't see finishes like that. We don't see catching finishes like that, and I definitely was shocked to see that. I popped, and when I pop, it's definitely all bets are out the window. This was a good fucking match. The attack the attack afterwards, it leads me to believe that there will be something happening in the future. I do want to see Jasmine versus Ash Goldman, and I also want to see an alliance. Obviously, Goldman and Stryder Jr. are a thing. Let's get Jasmine somebody who can hang with the both of them and put on a great tag match. So I give that match a 4 out of 5. That was definitely something that I enjoyed. I enjoyed that so much. Second match, main event, Strigz versus Tyson Chambers. I have no idea on who Tyson Chamber is. I haven't really seen him wrestle, so I don't really know much about him. But I know Strigz, and I definitely like watching Strigz wrestle. He's definitely got a good look to him. I love the whole, just like the gorilla op thing. I fuck with it a lot. So I always tune in when Strigz is doing a match, and this kind of had the match was kind of like a little all over the place to me, and I'll tell you why. When you got two guys who are supposed to be very, tough son of a bitches, man, like I would have had a more aggressive start. They went off and started with the traditional wrestling, and again, like chain wrestling in the beginning of the match doesn't really need to be needed. Honestly, I feel with those two guys, they should have just went out swinging, or they should have reversed the roles where they had after that, they're going to try to take each other down with clotheslines, and it just doesn't happen. They're not moving. I would have done that first. I definitely would have done that first, and then go into the chain wrestling. It just has a different dynamic. But one thing that I can, assure you that, Chambers showed some grit, man. He showed some grit, and he shows that he can put up a fight. And a lot of guys need to stop, counting out stubby, stocky, short guys, because these are motherfuckers that can really, bring the fight to you. And Strigz definitely, showed out once again in the match. One of the things that I liked is, he's a big man that's not afraid to go over the top rope. The tope to the outside was really, really nice. I really digged it. A few other spots I liked was the spear evasion to suicide dive from Chambers. Strigz trying to go for a spear. Chambers throws him to the outside, shifts to the outside, and then automatically is like, okay, cool, I'm going to go for a suicide dive. I like seeing big guys go for suicide dives. It shows that they're agile. It shows diversity. And I really dig that. Stuff that it did on the outside. The barricade spot, it was an intense moment, but I wish Chambers would have stayed down after he put Strigz through the barricade, because that's something that, like, because I put you through a barricade, I shouldn't be standing right afterwards. I should be on the ground. I should have, because it takes a lot to put someone through a barricade, and that should have been a slowdown point of that match. It should have definitely held off, and we could have frayed away with different camera cuts, just making sure that, like, we're going to keep these guys on the ground for a little bit and see what else can happen. And the finish. Before I get to the finish, I definitely like the spot where Tyson kind of looks a little busted open, but he wasn't bleeding. He wasn't bleeding out, and there's a big difference between getting cut and busted open than bleeding out. You don't really need a lot of blood in matches to prove that it's a good match, but if you do have little details where you can kind of tell that there's like a little hairline cut above the eyebrow, or somewhere that kind of shows like, oh, okay, these guys are actually fighting, you're giving the illusion that this is actually a fight. And that was definitely something that I saw that hasn't left my mind now that I'm talking about it. Now with the finish, I definitely do love how the finish happened. The slingshot spear to Strigg's finish, which was like a double underhook DDT. Very interesting, and I liked how it ended, because I'm sitting here, I was like, okay, slingshot spear, and he's going to go for the 1-2, get a kick out, and then we're going to go to the next spot. No, it actually ended off of that, and I like those unpredictable moments. It definitely sold me on how good the match was. And I give that match a 4 out of 5, because again, like it was just good. It was overall I'm kind of jumbling my words. It was really good. We'll just leave it at that. I really enjoyed it, and I couldn't quite hear what Strigz was saying after the match in the promo. I kind of gathered that I'm sure he was talking about all the guys that he had beaten, and he was looking for a challenge. Now, I'm thinking, no, this is going to be over. And then there was a CBC news clipping about imminent danger that was coming. And I'm like, oh, this is like crazy. I'm thinking, I was like, oh man, like something big's about to happen. And I'm honestly think it's going to be a state of emergency. So I'm ready to kind of like pack my shit up and board myself in the house and make sure I don't go anywhere. But there were a lot of speculations, I guess, backstage from what I was hearing from people that I know in the industry that a big name was going to be coming back, and we got it. Because again, I woke up from a nap. I woke up from a nap hearing that the King of Violence is back, and yeah, he comes through the crowd, and the stare down between Strigz and Adam Rain. Yeah, that's all you need. You don't need anybody talking on the mic. You don't need an attack. Stare downs are kind of underutilized in shows and events because you can tell more of a definite story with a stare down than just a normal attack. And the way that the Invitational ended like that, it really just made things good, if that makes sense. I definitely enjoyed the show overall. I hope to see more great stuff from True Alpha and the Invitationals as a whole. So yeah, I don't know what else more to say. So if you haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. I'll put the link in the description so you guys can check it out as well, and then you can kind of refer back to what I was saying. So until then, catch y'all later.